predictions episode. Now, we made a mistake, kind of, because we recorded it at the end of November. Oftentimes, that doesn't matter. You make predictions for the next year, and you're not very good, so they don't come true anyway, and they certainly don't come true in December. Except for this year, right?
Yeah, you may have some fun picking out during the show which predictions we really didn't think would come true by December 15th, but at the time of recording, you have. So
yeah.
It'd be like a Where's Waldo of predictions. Hey, that one's true.
We always joke around with the idea that we're doing these things live, but we never make a secret that they're pre-recorded.
Yeah. And I would say save some of that eggnog, and you can make a game out of it with some friends and family.
With that, enjoy our 2018 predictions episode. Happy New Year! Daily Tech News Show is powered by you. To find out more, head to dailytechnewsshow.com/support. Welcome to our end-of-year Daily Tech News 2018 predictions episode from DTNS headquarters in Los Angeles. I'm Tom Merritt.
And from Studio Feline at the beach, I am Sarah Lane.
Joining us, Mr. Justin Robert Young. Where are you?
Back here in Oakland, California, the news capital of the world.
And we also have from the far north, Jen Cutter. Where are you?
I'm in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
And in the mountains, the beautiful mountains, or at least near them, Scott Johnson.
We have snow there, but not down here, and it's great to be here, Tom.
And from lovely Burbank, California, it's Roger Chang.
That's right. I live in Burbank.
Close to it. Yeah. We are, it's the end of the year. What a year 2017 has been, especially December. I can't believe all the crazy things that happened in December. But we're not here to talk about the past. We are here to talk about the future. This is our prognostication episode, Sarah. Did you miss doing this? Did you miss laying your reputation on the line every year with predictions?
Yeah, well, the fun thing about predictions is, like, you take them as seriously as you can, but nothing bad happens to you if you're wrong. Because who can predict anything, really?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we used to do this when we all did TNT, and yeah, it was always fun, and like you kind of get wild and crazy sometimes, but sometimes you're right, even the stuff where you're like, that's a bit of a long shot. So I'm excited, and I'm excited to hear everybody else's too.
All right, well, let's get down to the predicting, and don't forget, folks, as you heard yesterday on the predictions results show, every year we go back and check. And we don't even let you forget what you predicted 5 years ago if you haven't checked in on it, depending on who you are. All right, let's start with you, Sarah Lane. Let's kick right into your predictions. What is your first one for 2018?
Okay, first prediction, and this has a lot to do with the fact that I'm really into the HQ app right now, and when I say that, I've been into it for approximately 1 week because I only really knew about it a week or back in November.
7 weeks, yeah, right?
7 weeks now. And if anybody is not familiar with it, it's like a live trivia game that gets pushed to your phone if you have notifications on. iOS users only for now. And it's hosted by a real guy, and
it's Android too now.
From everything I can tell, he's really hosting this whole thing live. A couple times a day on the weekdays and once on the weekends, and it's really fun. And at first I was like, this app it's not going to be around much longer, and I still actually believe that, which is where my prediction comes in. But I think that Facebook is going to build its own HQ app version, because Facebook is a couple things going on, like trying to get into video as much as possible, experimenting with original content. It sort of seems like a soft launch. I'm not totally sure how that rollout is working, but a lot of us know folks who are making original content for the Facebook platform specifically. And Facebook, loves the live. Facebook also has billions and billions of users. Now, the HQ app, the last round of trivia that I played yesterday, had 200,000 concurrent viewers playing. Of those, and they ask you 12 questions, and then, you get eliminated when you get them wrong. You only have like a few seconds, so it goes really quick. Of those 200,000 players, including myself, 99 people won, meaning that they got all right. I was not one of those people because the questions got really weird and hard at the end. So you think, okay, that is crazy engagement and like such a good opportunity for brands to like, let's ask a question about as Taco Bell, right?
Yeah,
and then talk
right.
about sponsors that question, right? And people answer because they love trivia. This seems perfect for the Facebook platform, possibly more than any other platform I could think of. So that's my prediction.
I love this. I think this is a great prediction. I think this is fantastic because where Facebook has gone now is where YouTube is going now, and having, with great consternation, the idea of monetizing things that aren't ad safe or ad valuable. And so you would think that something kind of one camera, fairly low rent or low production value would not be what they want. And yet there is the old standby for ad friendly trivia. Since the 50s, trivia has been so there's no clause. All the stuff is approved ahead of time, and if it doesn't have any kind of randomness of contestants saying stuff, I think this is great. I'm so jealous that I did not have this idea. That's a brilliant.
Here's the only thing I would say that I worry about with Facebook or other large platforms getting in on this. Oftentimes what happens is the best new ideas come from small places, and HQ is a good example of this. Even though these are former Vine founder guys, they've had their hands in sort of viral, successful, happy things before. This is yet another one of those, and that's great and all, but the concern would be that now the big 900-pound gorilla named Facebook would swoop in and go, oh, that's a cool idea, we'll go ahead and do that, and it will immediately lose its charm. Now, that doesn't mean they wouldn't be successful with it, and by sheer numbers, clearly they would be, but it would bum me out a little bit. So I think your prediction's dead on, and I think it's a great prediction, but it bums me out that they will, yet again, somebody huge will swoop in and take something small and turn it into their own thing. And
Facebook, there's a lot of evidence of Facebook doing that, copying smaller apps with a lot of times not much success at all. Although you could look at something like Instagram Stories, which, if you look at numbers, is trouncing Snap, and that was a direct ripoff. I at first was like, because the host of HQ, Scott, can't remember his last name off the top of my head, but he's very beloved. And so I was like, yeah, so they can't really recreate it. They'd have to buy the app because they need him. But I don't really think that's true. I think Facebook cares less about that and more about just sheer numbers of people who like the concept of HQ rather than.
I'm going to go ahead and give you partial credit ahead of time if they buy HQ. Like you're basically hedging there, and I think that's fine to say they'll either buy it, where you get half credit, but you're making a claim, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you being bold and saying, but I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, no. I don't think they will. This is where my whole thought process started, but I arrived at a different place altogether.
I wonder if somebody else doesn't buy.
Well, that's the funny thing is that you would think Twitter would be the place that makes a little bit more sense in that they have a platform that plugs directly more into that idea.
And they definitely see live video as their future, right?
But these guys already sold to Twitter once, and we don't know exactly how happy they were with how all that went.
Or actually, it could work the other way too. It'd be like, oh, we have a relationship, we know these guys, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Jen, do you have any thoughts on this?
I'm kind of interested in the Facebook angle because Facebook would be less cool, so you might lose all of the young hip people playing now, but then you also get all of the moms, and moms have money, so it could still work out for the brands.
Yeah. All right, Sarah, what is prediction number 2?
Prediction number 2. This is actually, I'm kind of drudging up something that was a big rumor back in the summer, back in June, and that was the idea that Slack was going to get gobbled up by somebody that was a bigger company than Slack. But who was it going to be? And the big rumor was Amazon. And then there were a lot of think pieces, people saying, well, I don't know, does Amazon really care about that? And is it really good fit? And maybe it's Google. So then I got to thinking, you know what? Because I use Slack so much, and from day one, as my Slack channels have grown, sometimes it's work related and sometimes it's just sort of, futzing around related with friends and sending each other silly memes and that sort of thing. I still find the service, it's very dear to me. It's a big part of my day every day. It's just one of my favorite places to be. Even though it's kind of buggy at times, we all know that. and I could mostly use my desktop, use it as a Mac app. But anyway, Slack is, I've been terrified for a while now that it's going to get bought and it's going to change. Rather than get better, it's going to get worse. I'm going to go ahead and say that Amazon will buy Slack in 2018. And the reason is not so much that I think Amazon wants this so badly, but there are just a few things that I could see working really well. For example, you know when you load up Slack and it has those funny quotes, you know? Yeah. Like sometimes the bear eats you for your friends at Slack or whatever, and you can customize them. It's like, okay, well, what if you just get like a little, you know, like flash sale on Amazon type thing? There's like lots of different ways that Amazon could kind of push its store onto people that are using it in many ways, you know, kind of on the development side, which Amazon could also be interested in. But I weighed this based on, okay, if I had to choose between Amazon and Google, you know, why wouldn't it be Google? And I just think that if Google really wanted to take Hangout seriously, and it does, but really take it seriously, it would just make Hangouts behave more like Slack than Hangouts already does, even though they have a lot of similar features right now. So I know it's a long shot because this was already a rumor that didn't happen, but I'm resurrecting it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like that hasn't happened before.
Well,
Verizon did buy Yahoo eventually.
Here's a thought. So Amazon bought Twitch, and everybody, and I mean everyone I knew that used Twitch at the time, was terrified that this meant a big corporate takeover, and it meant all sorts of changes, and it meant the Amazonation of the service. And the opposite happened. What instead we got were more stable servers, better bandwidth, deeper pockets, way more money to spend on the service itself. And they've been ramping up additional stuff. The Prime sub thing was genius. If you have Amazon Prime, you have a single sub. You can give it to anybody you want on Twitch. That helps streamers, that helps Twitch, and it helps Amazon. Everyone wins across the board. So they've shown themselves to be good stewards there. It hasn't been very long, so I don't know if we can make the full ruling yet. It's only been, what, a year or something, maybe a little more. So I'm all for this. I think Amazon has at least shown a propensity to make things better, not worse, when they get them under their wing. And I would look at Audible, I would look at Comixology, I would look at a handful of other properties they purchased. IMDb is another great one. They've leveraged it for their own services, like their own Prime Video and you being able to pause and read up on everything that's happening. It's pulling all that data from IMDb, but they haven't done the thing to IMDb everybody was worried about, which was change it or ruin it or whatever your definition of it is. So of all of the big wigs, I would prefer to see do it. So far, the track record for me is best example over there at Amazon. So I'm all with her on this.
And they've shown that they've got their buying pants on, you know, not only Twitch, but also a bigger acquisition with Whole Foods last year. I would say this is a great idea. And I would think that they would angle it more toward their AWS clients than they would their store clients. Mm-hmm. That you know, it is already a free service. Maybe you could do an ad enriched version that gets you some of the stuff. But I think for them, they basically just want to have another reason why you're buying server space through AWS. And here's another way that you can sync up your whole team.
Yeah, it's part of the enterprise package. And that is something Amazon needs to bolster. So that's another point in the favor of this.
And I think for anybody who's sort of like, yeah, but is that going to happen in 2018? Well, the reason that I feel like, you know, it's not so much a shot in the dark is that Slack has raised a lot of venture capital. And anytime a company is sitting on a huge valuation, potential valuation, based on a bunch of investors who really want their money back and then some, you know, usually this isn't far off. So, yeah, I mean, we're at the end of 2017. I don't think it's that far-fetched to say that Slack is going to have to go, whether they want to or not. Go to a nice high bidder.
Yeah, it's either time to marry them off or let them send them on their way to set up their own little tree.
Yeah, and make my Prime subscription a benefit to me using Slack. In other words, that's one of the things I like about the Amazon deal is I feel like my Prime thing goes further. Sometimes it goes up too, but it goes further, and maybe nice further with Slack would be some of the premium Slack features because I'm a Prime subscriber without me having to go all in on a Slack subscription.
Absolutely.
Justin Robert Young, you are up now on the hot seat. What is your prediction for 2018?
I believe that a driverless self-driving car, meaning a car that is allowed to operate without a human in it, will be approved and run in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 2018.
Well, I mean, you got to get a little more specific because there are driverless cars approved and running in Pittsburgh right now as a test by Uber.
Without a driver. Right now, they all have to have a driver in them.
Absolutely. So you're saying nobody will be in these things?
Nobody will be
for
in-
anybody to call.
I believe that in this year, I don't know if they'll be callable. I'm not saying that you'll be able to get one. I think that they will be approved to run
Without a driver on board.
without a driver to prove that this is possible. I think that this is the year we've seen enough cities run tests with drivers in them at some point, and why not this year? You have to start acclimating the roadways to
I'm in
have
Pittsburgh right
no.
now.
Waymo says they're going to do this year in Tempe.
I see these self-driving Uber cars almost every time I leave my house. Like, 'cause I'm in Pittsburgh, on Center Avenue. You see them like, every 5 minutes, just driving by themselves with the spinning thing on top.
That could be your place.
Well, all right, but my prediction is specifically with Pittsburgh.
All right.
I think that's going to happen. I think Uber will be the company to do it. But wait, all right. So Waymo says that they're going to do it in Tempe.
I mean, they say a lot of things.
Yeah.
Jen, what do you think? Has Justin lost his mind here?
No, this is the year. Everyone says 2020, but I think 2018 is the year that at least a city, I don't know if it's Pittsburgh, but it makes sense because of the testing that's going on there now. But 2018 is the year that some city somewhere has free roaming robot cars. Well, not free roaming, but somewhat untethered to a man robot cars, and that will be this year. Why not? 2018. Let's do it. Let's embrace it.
I know you didn't hear me, but I said Jen. So I predict Scott may be changing his name to Jen pretty soon.
It's a great name, let's be honest. There's a lot of us, but it's still a great name. This doesn't make the news a lot up here. Are there cities in the States that are offering incentives, and that's why places like Tempe and Pittsburgh are your predictions for this?
No, my prediction is based around the idea that Pittsburgh has a very good relationship with the Carnegie Mellon School, which is specifically on the East Coast a good engineering